Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes during our live broadcasts, we just don't get enough time to answer all the questions.
All the time.
We're going to answer the top upvoted questions here today. Getting into our first question. If I use mobile data, is my search history still viewable?
Not by the general public, but by law enforcement it will be. Like if they serve a production order on your mobile data provider, Bell, TELUS, whoever you're using, then yes, they will have a record of where you're going and what you're doing. So yes, for law enforcement, the answer is yes. For most other people, probably not.
Yeah, and the websites you visit will still have a record of you connecting into their system. So there still is data that can be trackable. Most certainly. If you never post anything and only use social media for texting or entertainment, is there still a lot of risk to using it?
Right.
Well, not really. I mean, it depends what your risk is. If your risk is avoiding someone hacking into you and messing with your stuff, I mean, it's about the same regardless.
I actually thinking the risk of you not using it in a positive way is actually more likely, right? Because again, I mean, for people who are using their social media and data in positive ways, that reflects positively, especially when it comes to work opportunities, right? So
scholarships, grants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is sexting illegal if no photos are shared? Well, that will depend on what the messages are, the consensual conversations, and age differences. I mean, you can still engage in luring,
Yes.
for example, even though no photos are sent or received. So potentially it depends.
Yeah. It's the other thing with the law, right? It's never black and white. It's all shades of gray.
Are employers legally allowed to ask to see my social media?
Yeah, legally they're able to ask you. Are you under any legal obligation to provide it to them? No.
Well, it depends on where you live, because in some places around the world, there are privacy laws that would prevent them from seeing that or even asking to see that.
True. In Canada, not so much, though. I mean, the different.
Well, they can't ask to log in and see.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that, like they can't ask you to give you they can't demand you to give your passwords and stuff. Now, there are some things, maybe you're being hired into a job where you have to get maybe specific clearance where they may be required, like working with certain government agencies, where you may have to provide access for them to look in to get that job. But other than that, no.
If I save a password, can my account get hacked? It depends on where you save the password to. If you're saving it on a Word document on your computer, yeah, you're at a higher risk. If
Your note apps on your phone.
If you're saving it into your web browser for memory, the challenge is if someone gets into your computer, opens their browser and logs in as you with the password remembered, if you're using a password manager, I mean, there's a risk someone could enter and figure out your master password. There's always a risk. But, you know, if you have 100+ accounts, I would rather put my passwords in a password manager than anywhere else. So risk management.
I like this next question.
Can I get one of those amazing hats?
Yeah, you can. I mean, they're called a fedora or a zoot hat. And the easiest way to do it is just Google it online and find one where you can purchase it. Just make sure I mean, the ones that we get are expensive because they're all wool. They're like $250, $300, right? So
why do you hate social media?
We don't.
We don't.
We're pretty clear on the fact that we don't hate social media, right?
I think there's challenges we definitely address.
It's like a tool. It can either be used in a good or bad way. But I mean, we're huge supporters of using social media in a positive way. Where we're not big supporters is using it in a negative way.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, when we have only an hour with a class to present, I mean, certainly there's a lot more emphasis on the negatives. We do try to bundle in the positives, but there's only so much positives you can fit into an hour program where you have to talk and help people deal with the challenges.
Because it's all about making informed decisions. And in order to make an informed decision, you got to know what those challenges are.
Can colleges track your account even if you have more than one on a number of different social networks?
Can they? Yes. Will they? Probably
not. It depends on, I mean, if you're going for a top-level scholarship in terms of a Ivy League sports team, well, then, okay, they might want to take a closer look to make sure their team is represented properly. If they are presented with evidence that you might be doing something you shouldn't, they might take a look. But generally, they're not going to go very deep. Can you get viruses from clicking on websites? Also, what file formats can they carry?
That's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
right?
so that's known as a drive-by download. You just visit a website and boom, it hacks you. Not so much anymore. Yeah, maybe 15 years ago. Yeah, we saw that definitely happen. But today, out of the box, your computers, your browsers are already built to prevent that.
I do think where this becomes more of a challenge is when you go into the dark web, right? When you're going down in the dark web.
Even then, just visiting a site, your browsers are going to ask you first, do you want to download this?
Yeah.
So again, a drive-by download, anything's possible, but definitely unlikely. And file formats, we've seen them in PDFs, Word documents, video files, zip files, EXL file. I mean, any file format can potentially carry malicious codes. So being cautious of what it is that you download is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about drop shipping?
That's yours.
That's an interesting idea where you basically order something on cheap overseas and you hold liability and just sell it on Amazon. I mean, it's a way people do business.
Yeah, there's a lot of side hustles online right now using it, right? So
I've never really thought a lot about it. I guess, do I think it's right or wrong? I mean, isn't any business designed to make money somehow? Buy it for cheap, sell it for more. Right. So I guess it's just a more efficient, quicker way of.
The only thing I can think of is if you don't set things up properly, it could be privacy issues associated, right? That's safety, security. You know, if you're going to do drop shipping as a side hustle, just make sure you do it right, so you're not violating any laws.
Yeah, that's true.
Like making sure that you claim whatever you make to Revenue Canada, because the last thing you want is Revenue Canada coming after you, right?
Well, thankfully, if you sell on Amazon, Amazon has the data and they share that. So yeah. Can universities access private Instagram accounts?
No.
Only data that's publicly available or that's been publicly leaked. That's really about it.
Yeah.
How can I stay safe on Discord?
I'll start. How about having their own Discord server?
Yeah, using a server that you're in control of,
That's
and you
one
have
way.
all the settings enabled that you need to have a private account.
What are some other ways? Like you're on Discord quite a bit.
Yeah, I use Discord all the time. It's fantastic. There's not so many ads, which is great compared to everything else. Private accounts, servers that are your own. Potentially, the thing with Discord is that it's all about the moderators. It's like the old school internet. There isn't a lot of AI there filtering things for you, which is pros and cons. So making sure that if you're joining a server, it's a server that has similar values as you and has a strong moderation team. That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
If you send somebody a nude over Snapchat and they screenshot it, can you choose to send the picture, but you don't consent to them saving it? Is that illegal? You send somebody a nude over Snapchat and they screenshot your nude. You choose to send the picture. Okay, you sent it, but you didn't consent for them to save it. Is that illegal? Did you give them consent? So I sent you a picture over Snapchat, but I didn't give you consent to save the picture. That's interesting because it's still in Snapchat and you would have then still consented to it being in their possession.
Yeah, I think as soon as they hit the send button, they provided the consent. So it would not be illegal for them to possess it at that point in time. But once you know that they have it, you have the right to ask them to delete it. Yeah. Right? You're right. Yeah. But I think as soon as they hit that send button, consent has been given because you sent it to them consensually.
Yeah, if you send a picture of somebody, we're talking about a nude here, and then they re-save it to another place.
Now, this is Canada, right? This is Canada.
U.S. can be a bit different depending on their state.
Yeah.
A court could rule either way. I mean, I haven't seen any such case. If I were to guess based on our experience, No.
I think as soon as they hit that send button, they provided a consent. What I do with the picture is up to me. Like, if I want to store
it,
no, I can't. It's illegal if I distribute it. And if you're the one who sent it to me, and then you ask me to delete it, and I don't delete it, well, then I technically am now in possession of child sexual abuse material, right? Because you asked me to delete it. So, good question. That one made me think.
I know, it's a good question.
Good question.
Would creating a drawing of private property, a restaurant or house, go against copyright?
No.
No, not necessarily. No. I mean, for your own. Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's just, the answer is no. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is if you're taking that and there's a logo in there, it's trademarked, and then you sell that. I guess it could be, but if you're just drawing it for your own fun and posting on social media, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Should I post my real name online or should I put a fake name? Would that be considered identity fraud?
Yeah, one of the things that we say is that if you're under grade 10, I always say protect your online identity. Once you get above grade 10 and above, then using your real name is important because now you become searchable by colleges, universities, employers, and that kind of stuff is what I say. So it just depends what it is you're doing. But I definitely say using a screen name, especially for younger people from a safety standpoint, is acceptable.
Yeah, not identity fraud. I guess it would depend on what you're signing up for. If you're signing up for a government site and you're using a fake name,
That's
well, then we might there could be some challenges there.
Yeah, exactly. Could be.
And keep in mind, when you're signing up for an online account, you usually have to make the back end data, your first name, last name, data you have to provide the service. Doesn't mean that data is made public, but you would still have to provide your real first name, last name. Yes, you could lie. It would be against the terms of service and they could ban you and delete you, which unlikely is going to happen. But if you're putting your real information on the back end stuff, it's probably fine. It's just the public name is what you want as a fake screen name.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you a police officer?
I'll take that one. I was a serving full-time police officer for 30 years, but I was also a reserve police officer for 2 years before that. So a total of 32 years of service.
0 for me.
Yeah. You were brought up in a policing family.
Can people even be targeted by friends at school?
It happens all the time.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
Like that's what we deal a lot with, right? Is where somebody's using their technology to target another friend or another student at the school by the use of their technology.
Is X VPN good? X VPN, I haven't heard of that one myself. I mean, any of the big ones are generally you want to stick with. You got the PIAs, you got your Nords, you got your Surfsharks. The big main ones, I haven't heard of that one, so I couldn't speak to the particulars of it.
One of the things we say is that if it's a free VPN, be cautious, right? Because if it's free, they're collecting your data, and free VPNs also have a habit of slowing down your internet connection. So going with the big ones that you're paying for are definitely the better way to go.
Is there a way I can make my posts private, meaning I can only see them? You can put limitations on there, but if you're using a platform and you're using someone else's computer, which is what the internet is, and you're putting something there, if the owner of the system wants to take a peek, they can. So you can limit things so, the millions of other people public online can't see what you're posting, but there's still the challenge of the server owners, the network owners seeing what you're doing. So,
I mean, the simple rule that we teach is that if you're posting anything using technology, no matter what your privacy settings, no matter what the platform, just understand that what you're posting can still become public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, shareable, and sometimes sold.
Yep.
Right? Simple rule.
What is your opinion on the dark web?
I think the dark web, when people think the dark web, right? Like you got your light web, which is a surface web, then you got your deep web, and then you got the dark web. There's a lot of cool things happening in the deep web. The dark web is when things get a little ugly, right? Like that's where a lot of the bad things happen.
Yeah, certainly the people who are unsavory will go there to hide, but at the same time, you're seeing people in countries that may have oppressive regimes are using the dark web that makes them less trackable to share information, to reach out, to share information with news organizations to show the world what's happening in a country that may have restrictive media access. So yeah, there's good things and there's not so good things.
It's like any tool, right? You can either use it for good or bad. It just depends upon how you use it.
Is my PlayStation Party Chat able to be obtained? Yeah, so we are seeing gaming networks, consoles now implementing voice recording. Usually it's within a certain time frame. If something is being said, someone can report you, and then the report will sample what was said and then send it off. It's not like from my knowledge, from what I've seen so far, it's not like the entirety of the voice chat is being copied and saved on a server. It's only the snippet, and after a few days, it usually gets deleted. So only once it's being reported. Now, if it's text chat, those are usually saved for a long time. Voice chat is a little more data intensive. But we are seeing that across more games, which is very interesting. Is it legal to draw pornography?
I'll take that one. If it's pornography that depicts somebody over the age of 18, no. If it's a drawing that shows somebody who's put out to be under the age of 18, then yes, we've got case law here in Canada that shows that drawing cartoons, anime, child pornography is illegal, although it's not pictures or video. The courts has still deemed it to be illegal because it's somebody portrayed under the age of 18.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the child pornography law, it says depicted, and depiction can have a wide array of interpretations.
Correct.
So it doesn't have to be an actual image of nude skin. It could be something else.
Right. So it all comes down to, is the picture, the drawing of somebody over or under the age of 18? If it's under the age of 18, legal. Over the age of 18, probably not illegal.
Yeah.
Canada. Right?
Yeah.
Canada. We keep saying that, right? Because we have viewers from all over the world.
Yes. Can the internet access my eyes only on Snapchat? The public internet? No, not like the millions of other people online, but the Snapchat admin server engineers, but certainly. And then, of course, that can be,
In
production
fact,
ordered.
There was an incident a couple of years ago where a couple of Snapchat employees were fired because they were accessing people's For My Eyes Only and taking pictures and videos that were For My Eyes Only that weren't meant for everybody else and posting them publicly, right? So
Yeah, My Eyes Only is just sort of adding another folder in sort of the Snapchat world.
Yeah.
It's not as if it's a secure, encrypted, zero info environment.
Right.
Does rejecting the location thing on apps actually work? Kinda, sort of. Yes, you can prevent the GPS chip from being accessible by certain apps by turning it on and off. However, there are more than a few ways to get someone's location without using GPS. So, yes, it works, but it doesn't mean you're anonymous online or that people and networks won't know where you are. Yeah, it's based on the Wi-Fi networks around. You can triangulate. It's
pinging.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing technology, but yes, you turn off location. It does turn off your GPS, but there are other ways. Can anyone hack into my hidden photos?
I think they're probably talking about For My Eyes Only again, right?
Well, if someone has your username and password for Snapchat, then yes, that's possible. Or you're having a secret hidden folder on your computer somewhere where you're hiding photos. I don't know what those folders could be, but it's a hidden folder. Who knows? Yeah, if someone gets a virus in your computer and starts going through your files, sure.
It's interesting. There's a huge show done on the Canadian national news show where they did some reporting where they took computers and cell phones, and did you see this? Into computer and cell phone shops to have them fixed and all that kind of stuff. And they put software on there to record what the workers were doing. And a number of these big brand places that check and all that kind of stuff were going into folders and looking at things that they had no authority to look at, right? Because
talking about that for quite a while.
Because you gave them permissions to access, right? So,
yeah. What happens to your nudes after you delete them? It depends. I mean, if something's digital and you delete it, but you sent it, well, you can delete it off your device. Doesn't mean you're able to delete it off other devices you don't control.
But even when you delete it off your device, although it looks like it's deleted on your device, the police may still be able to access other files on the computer or on your cell phone that you don't have access to, where that picture or video may still be stored to recover. Like there's some forensic technology that allows them to do that.
Yeah, it's going to depend on how the photos are handled and managed on your phones and where they're sent to and the networks. It's complicated. Hey, what is your favorite video game?
World of Tanks. I'm a boomer, man. World of Tanks, World of Warships. Those are my two favorite. What are yours?
Oh, I definitely like RPGs. Dragon Age is pretty good. I like the Fallout series. So yeah.
Valorant, Call of Duty.
No, not really.
Not really?
Not really FPS. I'll play FPS, but I definitely enjoy the RPGs.
Oh, gotcha. Just for people who don't know, what does that mean?
Role-playing game.
There you go.
Oh, Baldur's Gate's pretty good.
It's like Boulder Dash.
How can you join a coding company?
Take up coding? and then find some place where they have, like, there's a variety of different organizations now in cities across Canada that are offering coding as a part of learning. And then from there, companies, like we say in our presentation, coding is one of the most sought after skill set that a lot of companies are looking for. So that's why we say to teens, if you can code Python, HTML, JavaScript, C++, or learn how to word code today, or prompt engineer, you're kind of setting yourself up for financial success of the future.
Start by building a coding club at your school.
Correct.
That can be really effective.
Yeah.
What do I do if my partner used my dead name, even though they know my preferred name? Well, it's just bringing it up and letting them know, hey, just being assertive with them and go, hey, that's not my name. This is my name. And if they continue to use the name that you're not preferring them to use, well, then perhaps you got to question the
just
relevancy
for clarification
of that.
What do you think they mean when they say my dead name?
So somebody who has a name change, someone's gone over a trans individual.
Gotcha.
Right. So they're just changing their names.
Right.
So it's name. Some people call it their legal name. Sometimes people prefer to use a given name, whatever they may choose to be.
That's the only reason I bring it up, because we may have some boomers watching this going, what? They're dead. Like, what's the big deal, right? But that's not what this question means. So that's why I asked.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything legally wrong about them using maybe your government name? No, but I guess it's about you questioning the legitimacy of that friendship, and perhaps that's not the friendship you want to cultivate.
Mm-hmm.
What is your dream?
I'll be honest with you. I've kind of lived my dream, right? I'm married, got a great family, great kid. I was in a career that I really enjoyed. I'm now doing something really cool here. If maybe I had one more wish, was that maybe we would take off even more than what we're doing, right? Where we become even bigger and more out there with respect to what it is we're doing. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, if we were able, for the White Hatter, if we were able to broadcast or present to every classroom in North America, it'd be fantastic.
That's quite the dream.
Yeah. Well, with video and recordings, you can achieve that.
Yeah, for sure.
It is doable.
Anything's achievable.
What is the legal age to send other people's nudes around?
It's illegal to send anybody else's nudes around without their consent.
Yeah. It's going to depend where you live and the laws that you are bound by. Right. But if we're going to use Canada, for example, if you have a nude picture of somebody and you distribute that without their consent, well, then that is illegal.
Illegal. Right? Can't do it.
Yeah, no.
No matter what the age, can't do it.
And many states now are having similar laws like that. If it's a nude of somebody, regardless of their age, you cannot send that to anybody else or post it anywhere unless you get their consent. Mm-hmm. Under the age of 18, even if you have their consent, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no. Do employers check comments on random posts?
Well, we now know there was some statistic, again, down here in Canada, where 92% of all employers say that they check the internet, open source, to see what people are doing. So the answer is it could.
It could.
Do all employers do it? No.
Are they actually going to see the comment that's most concerning? Possibly not. But
they can do it, right?
Yeah. Were you homeschooled?
No.
Nope.
No. Public school.
What are your hobbies?
I've got a variety. I love writing, number one. I've taken up Olympic style skeet shooting and trap shooting is kind of what I'm doing right now. Really having a good time doing that. What about you?
Hobby. I'm a gamer, so I will play video games, or I also DM D&D games. So
D&D, what does that mean?
Dungeons and Dragons.
That's for the boomers.
Can people find my chats between me and my friends? If you're having a public chat in a public forum, then yes. If you're having a private chat with your friends, well, I mean, the social media company you're chatting on can possibly see that.
Or if a friend screen captures your chats and posts them publicly as a weapon, that can happen, which happens lots as well, right? So.
Oh, yeah. We see private group texts shared publicly online
all
the
time.
So, yeah.
Again, nothing's ever private, right?
What's your take on the family bloggers on YouTube and TikTok?
Oh, I'm going to take this one on. I've got an issue with it, especially when it's younger kids. In fact, I see it as, in a way, a form of exploitation to a degree. Not sexual exploitation, but the exploitation of the young person to do what it is that they're doing online. Like, it's kind of amazing now. You know, when we first started this kind of kidfluencers is what it was known as, right? And when it first started many years ago, a lot of those young kids are now into their teens, into their early adulthood, and they're all saying that they wish that that never happened, right? So, you know, I really don't like it, right? We call it sharenting and, you know, kidfluencing and that kind of. I just really don't like it, right?
I mean, could there be a way of using? I mean, that's not the sphere of YouTube I actively consume, but could there be a way of using it more ethically? Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah. But I think in the constant push for content and
selling products
and just getting it out there and then using a kid under the guidance of a parent in order to
sell goods.
Yeah. Could there be a way of doing it better? Probably, but it is. Yeah, it's concerning. I've actually seen some laws in the U.S. proposed that will actually require some limitations, or
and so it should.
Or I've seen some kids when they're older and like teens or adults sue parents.
We got a couple here in Canada right now where that's going on. We're following it through the courts to see what happens. It'll still be a couple more years because it's a civil issue, but.
Do you feel that today's online climate influences teen drug use more or less?
That's a good question. My answer is going to be it depends.
I think it could, most certainly. I mean, I would also consider economic climate as well. I would consider the social cultural challenges today. Would the internet be the sole focus on that? I think it could make it more accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're a teen having a wonderful, great life and you may never come across any drug-based concerns on social media. It depends what your filter bubble is.
For sure. Yeah.
I think it's possible, but I wouldn't put it solely squarely on the internet today.
No, we've written a good article on that very issue that you can find on our website where there's all kinds of other external factors that can happen, right? So,
how long did it take to get this job? Well, we made it.
Yeah, we made it happen, right? We made it happen. I mean, it
took time to get to where we are today.
Yes, and we're still in a growing spurt, right? Like but it's something that we focused on. That was one of our goals. We focus on our goals. We have achieved our goals, and now we got more goals, right? It's kind of like we said, what's your dream? We had a dream. We're making our dream come alive now, doing what we do here at the White Hatter through the production studio that we have, and we got other dreams that we're pursuing as well.
Is TikTok bad? It depends how you use it.
It's like any other tool.
You consume.
Yeah, it's like any other tool.
If you're spending your entire day on it, then okay, we got some problems. If your For You page is all concerning content, then we got some problems.
I mean, the thing about TikTok, so what makes it different than all the other social media platforms is its algorithm, right?
It's the algorithm. The algorithm is very precise. The moment you spend a little extra time scrolling through one video because it captures your attention, if it's a shock value, you're going to pay a little more attention to it. Then it really focuses and hones you in on that, and it kind of really funnels you into a very narrow filter.
And that's the problem, because sometimes on TikTok you can start to go down this rabbit hole, and it's really hard to get out of that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
right? And that rabbit hole can take you to deep, dark places that are not good for you emotionally, psychologically, physically, or socially. Right? Compared to a lot of the other platforms.
I am glad TikTok has the ability to reset your algorithm.
Yes.
Where it's kind of, so you start from the most popular videos and then it narrows you back down. I would like TikTok to have, when you open the app, you have your For You page, but maybe you have other subcategories.
Well, yeah.
You know, I want to have a feed of video games or something. So you can kind of have more control rather than just being bound by the algorithm.
I mean, it's like any other tool. Like I cooked a dinner last night based upon a video I saw on TikTok of somebody doing this dinner. I went, well, that looks really good. And we did it, and it was really good, right? Like, so there's a lot of cool and good things that happen on TikTok, but on the flip side of the coin, there's a lot of ugly stuff. It's much like any other tool. So you can say the same thing on Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, it's just a tool. It's like any other. The difference, though, with TikTok is its algorithm. It has a habit. It can drag you down quickly.
Can you lose your job because of what you do on Fortnite? Well, I mean, unlikely. If you are in a Fortnite chat public lobby and you are saying horrible, evil, ugly, nasty things, and someone captures that, reports it, because Fortnite can capture your audio and then report that. If you're doing it that way, but just by playing the game, no. I don't see why you would.
No, I agree.
Depends on what you're saying.
Yeah, it depends upon what you're saying and doing.
What is the most impressionable event you have experienced so far in your career?
In my life was the birth of Brandon. That was most impressive.
In your career?
Oh, sorry, in my career. It depends upon what career. Career in policing, saving lives. Like I saved a number of lives, including a police officer's life who was choking to death. That was kind of impressionable on what it is I did. What about you and what it is that we're doing here at the White Hatter?
For me, with my career solely on the internet investigative space, I think the most impressionable are the youth who reach out to us because they have a naked nude image being used as a form of blackmail.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
I think those are the most impressionable cases that we remember.
Yeah, I mean, having the trust of youth after they hear us speak, enough trust that they reach out to us for help, knowing that we'll help them as best as we can. If we can't, we know somebody who does. That's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool.
What is your standpoint on the situation of kids being exploited online?
Hate it, hate it, hate it. And anything we can do to identify who's responsible and get them arrested, we'll do it.
That's why we do what we do, to prevent that in the first place. That's one of our objectives.
Can't be any more blunt than that, right? Like those individuals need to be arrested and charged and convicted and thrown in jail, right? So
why did you pick this job?
Because it's cool. I love it. I love the technology. I love working with Brandon. This is here to stay. I mean, this is a part of what it is that we do. It's a part of my life. That's the reason why I did it, and being able to share what I've learned in my career and with you and that kind of stuff, and sharing it with the masses, right? That's why, and providing people, including adults, with the information that they need to have to make an informed decision before they hit the send button. That's my reason. How about you?
Yeah, what we do here really kind of matches a lot of my interests. I'm a tech nerd. Okay, check.
You're my digital Yoda.
I love helping people acknowledge and use technology to the best of their ability. Check, we're doing that. And, helping people who are dealing with challenges. Check, we're doing that. So it really fits a lot of my interests. So, of course, this makes sense to what I'm doing here today.
Yeah. For sure.
And that is our last question. And those are the questions from November. Thank you all so much. And
4 weeks till Christmas. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
It depends on when I actually post the video.
Oh, that's true.
It might be 3 by the time this gets out there.
We're getting close.
We have a lot of programs to do before winter break.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, it is the holiday season, and we will see you all next time. Stay safe, have fun, and enjoy the internet.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.